So I'm doing a series on remote ID, and one of the things that I want to discuss is how it's going to work. So let's find out. Hello and welcome to LegalDrone, where we talk about drones and other tech stuff. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Before we begin, as always, this is not legal advice. So I'm putting up a series on remote ID, and I already have made a few videos. And today I want to talk about how remote ID is going to work. If you go to regulations, you will see that remote ID is basically a transmission of flight information. You will be able to transmit things like position and flight speed, altitude, all those things you will be able to broadcast or transmit to people nearby, and people will need to have equipment to receive that signal. So right now remote ID is going to work with basically Wi-Fi signal and or Bluetooth. A lot of people have Wi-Fi receiving capabilities and or Bluetooth receiving capabilities. So right here I have my iPad, which has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capabilities, so it can receive those signals if someone is transmitting them, and that's the idea with remote ID. So how this is going to work is that you have to be able to transmit your information from the time the drone takes off, and you will transmit the information all the time until you turn off your drone. Originally people thought that it was going to be from the moment you turn on your drone until you turn it off, but if you see the document that the FAA published, the final rule, you will see that there were a lot of comments in this particular aspect, and people said, well, when I turn on my drone, sometimes I'm not doing it to fly, I am doing it to do some maintenance on my drone. And that is right. A lot of people do maintenance in their homes. So if you turn on your drone inside your home, you're going to be transmitting at least your drone position from your home, and people are going to be able to pinpoint the location of that drone inside your house. So a lot of people complain about this, and the FAA said, well, okay, we're going to do it from the moment you take off. Now, a lot of people thought that the transmission was going to be until the moment you landed your drone, but in this particular way, they said that sometimes it's important for law enforcement agencies to try to pinpoint the location of the person until the drone is turned off, because sometimes they might be in pursuit of the person and the person only has to land the drone, and remote ID transmission would have ended at that moment. Because the thing about this is that remote ID, the idea of remote ID is to know the information in real time. It's not So the idea is not to have a database of that information. The idea is that if someone sees someone flying a drone, let's say recklessly, and they notify their local law enforcement, they will be able to locate the drone at the moment, and all the information that they obtain, they can match it with other information that they have in order to complete an investigation. But the main purpose of this is to know information in real time. So with remote ID, you will be able to transmit all that information from the moment you take off until you turn off your drone. Because the thing that they want to avoid, let's say someone calls the police that someone is flying a drone near their window and they are taking pictures of the inside of their house. And like I say, one of my state drone law videos, those are the type of things that states can regulate, things like privacy. So someone calls the police and the drone user realizes that someone called the police. So remote ID transmission would have ended at the moment of landing. A person just had to land the drone and that's it. No more information will be transmitted. But if he landed the drone away from where the person was flying the drone now is going to be on until the person goes and turn it off. So the police will have time to pursue the person until the person turns off the drone. So you have to keep in mind that even if you land your drone will be transmitting your information. So at least in 2023 is the deadline for drone users to comply, but the thing is that they might need to comply before that if they want to get the benefits of having remote ID, like the FAA is using remote ID for. Like, this is a catch. If you want to fly over people, you need to comply with remote ID, or if you want to fly at night without a waiver, then you need remote ID. And that is a way that the FAA is going to try and enforce remote ID before the final deadline for drone users. There's one thing I want to mention is that the information that is going to be available for law enforcement agencies is going to be more than the information available for normal people. Law enforcement agencies might be able to get your name, address, although all that information when they pull out remote ID information from a broadcast. But normal citizens or regular citizens will not be able to get all that much information. So they might be able to get, I think, the registration number of the drone. They will get the position, altitude, flying speed, all that. But law enforcement agencies will get your name and your address. So they will be able to do a full investigation even if you ultimately landed the drone and turn it off. They will still have your name. So if someone saw you, prosecutors might be able to get a conviction on other type of evidence. So you have to remember that when it comes to criminal cases, and I have explained this before, the standard proof is beyond reasonable doubt, but people have to understand that there are other types of evidence that is not, electronic evidence. So even if they are not able to locate you at the moment doing the thing, so, the law enforcement agency, if someone saw you and they testify and a jury believes that person, they will convict you. Okay, so like I said, remote ID is going to roll out in 2023, but we might need to comply before if we want to do the things that the FAA is promising us. So this is all for these videos. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe, turn on the notifications. If you want to see more drone law videos, I have a playlist right here. If you want to see more on my remote ID series of videos, you can click the playlist here. So thanks again for watching and see you next time.